Hello, friend, or should I say, fellow traveler in the digital wilderness. Welcome to Terminal Disclosure, where we unravel the complex threads of the cyber world. Today, we're diving deep into a story that began with internet pranks and evolved into a global phenomenon, a story of digital rebellion, hacktivism, and the ever-elusive entity known as Anonymous. We'll trace Anonymous's journey from the chaotic depths of 4chan to its involvement in major world events, exploring its motivations, its impact, and the ethical questions it raises. From Project Chanology to the Arab Spring, from Operation Payback to the Russia-Ukraine conflict, we'll examine how Anonymous has shaped the digital landscape and challenged traditional power structures. So buckle up, because this is the evolution of Anonymous, from internet pranks to hacktivism. To understand Anonymous, we need to travel back to the early 2000s, to the anarchic digital playground known as 4chan. Imagine a virtual Wild West, a place where anonymity reigned supreme and the pursuit of lulz, internet slang for laughs derived from causing mischief, was the primary driving force. 4chan, you see, was and still is an image board website where users can post and discuss anything anonymously. It's a breeding ground for internet culture, memes, and yes, online pranks. It lacked much moderation, making it a perfect environment for users to explore their creativity and pull off fairly harmless jokes. Think of it as a digital mosh pit. There was no central leadership, no formal structure. Users, often identified only as anonymous, would come together for fleeting moments of collective mischief, organizing raids on other websites or engaging in elaborate pranks. This early iteration of Anonymous was driven purely by amusement. The focus was on causing a stir, disrupting the status quo, and generally having a good laugh at someone else's expense. It was digital anarchy in its purest form, but within this seemingly chaotic environment, something significant was brewing. The skills and tactics honed during these early raids, coordinating online activity, manipulating websites, and evading detection, would later prove invaluable when Anonymous transitioned to hacktivism. They were practicing for something bigger, they just didn't know it yet. The year was 2008, and a seemingly innocuous video featuring actor Tom Cruise talking about his beliefs in the Church of Scientology leaked onto the internet. The church, known for its aggressive legal tactics, attempted to have the video removed, citing copyright infringement. This sparked outrage among many online, who viewed it as an attempt to censor free speech. Enter Anonymous. What began as a coordinated campaign of online pranks against the Church of Scientology quickly escalated into something far more significant. Dubbed Project Chanology, this operation marked a pivotal turning point in the evolution of Anonymous. Anonymous launched a multi-pronged attack. They flooded the church's websites with denial-of-service attacks, disrupting their online operations. They made prank calls, sent black faxes, and even posted fake online advertisements for Scientology services. But Project Chanology wasn't just about online disruption. It marked Anonymous's first foray into real-world activism. Thousands of individuals, many wearing the now iconic Guy Fawkes masks, a symbol of rebellion and anti-establishment sentiment popularized by the film V for Vendetta, took to the streets to protest against the Church of Scientology. Project Chanology was a watershed moment. It demonstrated Anonymous's ability to blend online and offline activism, mobilizing a global network of individuals to support a common cause. More importantly, it solidified Anonymous's identity as a defender of free speech and an opponent of censorship. The lulls were still there, but now they were accompanied by a sense of purpose. This operation showcased Anonymous's ability to take a stance that was driven by something other than entertainment. The Church of Scientology was an easy target because of their track record with legal entanglements. Emboldened by the success of Project Chanology, Anonymous began to target other entities perceived as engaging in censorship or injustice. One of the most significant of these operations was Operation Payback. In 2010, WikiLeaks, the website dedicated to publishing leaked classified information, released a trove of sensitive documents related to the Iraq War. This sparked a global controversy, and several major financial institutions, including PayPal, Visa, and MasterCard, cut off services to WikiLeaks, effectively preventing them from receiving donations. Anonymous viewed this as an act of censorship and retaliation against WikiLeaks for exposing uncomfortable truths. In response, they launched Operation Payback, a series of distributed denial-of-service, or DDoS, attacks against the websites of these financial institutions. DDoS attacks work by overwhelming a target website with a flood of traffic, making it inaccessible to legitimate users. It's like a digital blockade, effectively shutting down the target's online presence. Operation Payback demonstrated Anonymous's willingness to target powerful financial institutions in response to perceived injustices and censorship. It solidified their anti-establishment stance and their commitment to defending online freedom, even if it meant disrupting financial systems. While the attacks caused temporary disruptions, they also raised serious questions about the legality and ethics of Anonymous's tactics. Were they legitimate acts of protest or simply acts of cybercrime? This debate continues to this day. It was during this time that Anonymous gained a wider reputation as an organization that was willing to attack those in power. The concept of freedom of information became a key philosophy for the group. The year 2011 saw the eruption of the Arab Spring, a series of pro-democracy uprisings that swept across the Middle East and North Africa. In countries like Tunisia, Egypt, and Libya, citizens took to the streets to demand political reforms and an end to authoritarian rule. Anonymous played a crucial role in supporting these movements. They provided activists on the ground with tools and resources to circumvent government censorship, spread information, and organize protests. In Tunisia, for example, Anonymous helped activists bypass government firewalls and access blocked websites, allowing them to communicate with the outside world and share information about the uprising. They also launched cyberattacks against government websites, disrupting their operations and drawing attention to the protests. By taking aim at state-sponsored media, Anonymous was able to help spread awareness. Anonymous's involvement in the Arab Spring showcased its ability to impact real-world political events and support democratic movements. It demonstrated the group's capacity to amplify the voices of protesters, challenge authoritarian regimes, and promote freedom of information. This support of the Arab Spring marked a significant shift in Anonymous's goals. They were no longer just interested in attacking targets for entertainment or to make a statement. The group was now involved in supporting real activists in countries that were facing serious human rights violations. While Anonymous achieved significant success in supporting various causes and movements, its decentralized and leaderless nature also presented significant challenges. The lack of a formal structure, while empowering, often led to internal fragmentation and disagreements. Different factions within Anonymous pursued separate agendas, sometimes conflicting with each other. This lack of central coordination made it difficult to maintain consistency and focus, and it occasionally led to actions that were controversial or even harmful. Additionally, the anonymity that protected members of Anonymous also made it difficult to hold them accountable for their actions. The lack of transparency raised concerns about the potential for abuse and the possibility of innocent individuals being caught in the crossfire. By 2016, Anonymous began to decline as its decentralized nature led to internal disagreements and fragmentation. Different factions pursued separate agendas, and the group's prominence waned. The collective found itself in a position where they would need to consolidate their goals if they wanted to continue being effective. The structure of the group made it hard to find any kind of common ground on a consistent basis. Despite these challenges, Anonymous has left a lasting legacy as a symbol of digital resistance and the power of collective action. The group demonstrated the potential for online communities to mobilize and challenge traditional power structures. It also raised important questions about the ethics of hacktivism, the role of anonymity in online activism, and the balance between freedom of speech and the need for accountability. Anonymous proved that a decentralized group with no clear leadership can still influence modern society. The legacy of the group is that regular people can use the internet to cause change. Throughout its existence, Anonymous employed a range of cyber techniques to achieve its goals. These included, but were not limited to, distributed denial of service or DDoS attacks. These attacks flood target websites with traffic, making them inaccessible. Another technique that Anonymous used was website defacement. Hackers would break into websites and alter the content, often replacing it with political messages or images. The group also used SQL injection attacks. This method exploits vulnerabilities in website databases to gain unauthorized access to sensitive information. Another tactic used by Anonymous was phishing. Phishing attacks involve sending fraudulent emails or creating fake websites to trick individuals into revealing personal information. The group would also use doxing. Doxing involves collecting and publishing private or identifying information about individuals, often with malicious intent. Anonymous employed anonymity tools such as Tor to mask their IP addresses and protect their identities online. The group also made use of botnets, which are networks of computers infected with malware that can be controlled remotely to launch attacks. While the group has faced criticism for its lack of accountability and the collateral damage caused by its actions, Anonymous remains a symbol of decentralized activism and the power of collective action in the digital age. Innocent individuals and organizations have sometimes been caught in the crossfire, raising ethical concerns about vigilante justice. The ethical implications of Anonymous are far-reaching. Their use of hacking as a form of protest has blurred the lines between activism and cybercrime, raising debates about the ethics of hacktivism. Despite periods of decreased activity, Anonymous has demonstrated continued relevance and adaptability in the face of evolving geopolitical challenges. A prime example of this is their involvement in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Following Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, Anonymous declared cyber war on Russia, targeting government websites, state media outlets, and critical infrastructure. They claimed responsibility for disrupting Russian government communications and leaking sensitive data. This action demonstrates that Anonymous, despite periods of decreased activity, is still engaged in current events and willing to take action. It reinforces their enduring presence in the digital landscape and their commitment to using their skills to support causes they believe in. Anonymous's actions during the Russia-Ukraine conflict also highlight the evolving nature of hacktivism in the 21st century. Cyber warfare has become an increasingly important aspect of modern conflict, and Anonymous has positioned itself as a player in this new arena. Anonymous has reconfigured nihilist sentiments and political disenchantment into idealistic worldviews, enabling the cohabitation and partial integration of diverse political claims. So what does all of this mean for us, the listeners? Well, the story of Anonymous is a cautionary tale, a testament to the power of the internet and a reflection of our increasingly complex relationship with technology and authority. It reminds us that anonymity, while offering protection and freedom, can also be a double-edged sword, potentially leading to abuse and a lack of accountability. It forces us to consider the ethical implications of our online actions and the potential consequences of our digital footprints. Anonymous has shown that the internet can be a powerful tool for social and political change, but it also highlights the need for critical thinking, responsible online behavior, and a clear understanding of the ethical boundaries of hacktivism. We must understand that the decentralized and leaderless structure of Anonymous contributed to both its power and its eventual fragmentation. This reveals a more nuanced picture of the collective. The group has supported various causes and movements, from the Arab Spring to Black Lives Matter, demonstrating its adaptability and continued relevance. In conclusion, Anonymous's rise as a political force was never part of a grand plan, but rather the result of a series of spontaneous and decentralized actions. Their use of hacking as a form of protest has blurred the lines between activism and cybercrime, raising debates about the ethics of hacktivism. Anonymous is constantly evolving, and there is no single definitive political, philosophical, theological, or sociological preference which it adheres to. Their commitment to freedom of information, justice, and anonymity forms the philosophical bedrock of Anonymous, attracting global support. Anonymous has shown the power of anonymity, the internet, and collective action to challenge authority, even without a grand plan. The future of Anonymous remains uncertain, but their legacy is already cemented in the annals of digital activism. So what's next for Anonymous? Will they continue to adapt and evolve in response to new challenges and opportunities? Will they find a way to overcome their internal divisions and maintain their relevance in an ever-changing digital landscape? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, the story of Anonymous will continue to be debated, analyzed, and reinterpreted for years to come. It is a story that speaks to the complex and often contradictory nature of the digital age, a story that reminds us of the power we all wield in the online world, and a story that challenges us to consider the ethical implications of our actions. That's all for today's episode of Terminal Disclosure. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Anonymous. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay safe in the digital wilderness.